quite a bit of Legacy Classics. Here we're going to see Temur Rhinos versus Mono Red Goblins. There's stickers on my screen, Julian. Help me.
Dude, and I can't even tell you what exactly the words on those are gonna be, but yeah, this is how you play Legacy in the year of 2024. You bring some stickers, and the opponent either puts you on a bluff or they know that you're the sticker goblin deck, right? So, Drake, what do you think? If you see somebody here sitting across from you presenting the stickers, making like I think you have to randomize them and like pick 3 or something.
Oh yeah, I was about to put you on the spot. Do you know the sticker rules?
I kinda do. Like I know that if you kill the sticker goblin in response to a triggered ability, you don't get any mana, and that's as far as I know.
All right, so you end up with 10 sticker sheets. You cannot have repeats, and you have to have at least 10. There are more than 10 that you can have. And you shuffle your sticker deck and present it to your opponent alongside your regular deck, and you get the top 3 of your sticker deck to be your stickers for the game for your name sticker goblin, which is very different from how it works on Magic Online, as these players well underway. Just a Wooded Foothills for Michael Bearmon and his take on Temur Rhinos, and for Mike Jarvis starting things out a little bit more explosively. Cavern, you have to imagine naming goblins. Chrome Mox pitching a card. It's Simian Spirit Guide being pitched as well, and it's the name sticker goblin himself. We're reaching
and
for
Mike is already entering the combo. Mike is going straight for the combo on the first turn. Like we talked about how this used to be kind of like a mid-range or aggressive deck, or even like some people would sometimes call it a control deck. But honestly, if you ask me, Goblins is a combo deck in Legacy, and we will probably see why it is right now.
And here we see the name sticker goblin. So what is brought up on your screen right now is actually the Magic Online implementation. For the in-paper implementation, it's just this blank goblin idea. Still a 2/2, and it says when it enters the battlefield, you can put a sticker on it, and then you get a red mana for each vowel you have in that name. So I believe we saw, I can't get a great look at the stickers, but we did see Mike Jarvis hold up a 4 for us. So I believe it made 4 mana, allowed him to deploy Broadside Bombardiers and get to attacking right away. Did the name sticker goblin. Here's another copy of Broadside Bombardiers, a card we've seen quite a bit of action, and this is a lot of pressure already.
This is already lethal on the second. Yeah, close and almost. I want to say. I mean, people have. If you haven't played against this is not the old Gold Goblins deck of, I don't know, 2005. This deck is going to run you over, and it's going to run you over as soon as turn 2. Like, even if it doesn't kill you on the second turn, it's going to put you in an impossible position on the second turn. So, I don't know what Michael can still do. I guess the idea is to use a Spirit Guides, or maybe bounce one of the Goblins with Brazen Borrower, Petty Theft. No, I think we're going to make 2 Goblins. Two Goblins.
Is it Rhinos time? The now banned Violent Outburst from the Modern format, finding its way into Legacy. Here's Violent Outburst. After attacks, we're going to make some Rhinos to block.
Okay, that sounds pretty good, honestly. Is there like a way where we like shoot down one of the Rhinos? I guess that doesn't really do all that much.
I think that's like it's not the same thing, right? Because you can make them trade. I think we do want to do some amount of boasting action. Not sure if we want to do that before blocks or not. Remember, Broadside Bombardiers does have Menace. So that can complicate this block a little bit. And yeah, here we go. We're going to double block one of the Broadside Bombardiers. So now we can cannon that using the other Bombardiers, which we're going to do right now. So there goes the boast ability from Broadside Bombardiers. Cannoning that Broadside Bombardiers. There we go. Deals mana value +2. So that's 5 damage to the face. And 4 more damage comes through. And that's going to leave Michael Bearmon at... Where are we at? Are we at 8 right now? Yes.
No
okay, so I think we're at 8 right now. No additional boast.
Okay, so there's Unlicensed Thirst in hand for Mike, which doesn't really do anything here. And Michael is gonna try to figure this out. Like, how aggressive can Michael really be with the 2 Rhinos? Because next turn, I think, whoa, we are attacking. Okay, I guess that makes me really that makes me really
no blocking necessary. We're making some attacks. Let's go. So what does that mean if we're attacking with the Rhinos, trying to win the race against the Broadside Bombardiers and the Goblins accompanying it?
I mean, even if we make 2 more Rhinos and double block the boast guy, then we take like 2 damage and then we shoot 5. Yeah, I think that's barely not enough.
First, I see Brazen Borrower, and Petty Theft on Broadside Bombardiers, and Mike Jarvis is actually tapped out of mana there, so only this name sticker goblin can get in the red zone, and it is 2 damage coming through for Michael Bearmon. That's going to put him down to 6. Blank Goblin doing the work outside of just making mana, doing its Seething Song Impression, and still able to attack. And back to Bearmon we go, who has some Rhinos left. We'll see if he wants to attack again.
What? This is tough, man. This is like tough decisions from the very first turn on, and like this is no fetch land, go, okay, trying to figure out which way I want to go the game. No, we go into it straight from the very first turn, and Mike doesn't really have a lot of options, I would guess. Like you probably run out the broadside bombardiers again, and from there you'll figure out whether you want to attack and boast. Dude, this has me on the edge of my seat.
The plan right
City of
now.
Traitors.
I don't think that helps.
I don't know what the third card in hand is. We already know about 2 of those cards. Curious what the third card is. But
2 mana, 3 mana. It's Broadside Bombardiers. Okay, so that's redeployed. No crewing or exiling with the hearse, but we can cannon the hearse. So if some blocking action in a certain way happens, maybe that's a consideration. Is this just lethal no matter what?
no, it's like 3, it's 5, 7. Yeah, actually, it. Oh no, we can't do it. Ha! I think
this might be
got
lethal
it. We got it. You're right.
Yeah. Oh,
technically we
have Elvish Spirit Guide going to exile. Is it another outburst? It's endurance. Okay, that's another blocker, and that actually saves Michael Bearmon here right now. We'll see how Mike Jarvis wants to respond, if at all. But the battle of the mics. This is getting heated up.
Is there a world where you sacrifice the hearse to shoot down one of the creatures early on, so you can stop one of the blockers?
Early on, I mean, it was representing lethal here. You might want to do it now. Maybe you just want to go. Ooh, this is tough. These are some good blockers for Michael Bearmon. I mean, I'm certain you want to activate the boast here, right? And now the question is, do you want to like sacrifice name sticker and try to get somewhere with that?
Couldn't you boast before Michael actually declares blockers? So you'd rather keep the name sticker goblin instead of the hearse?
Sure.
I think I would have preferred that.
Not clear. We have some tokens that look like they're untapping. City of Traitors deployed. And Michael Bearmon, with that endurance, now went from being dead to looks like he might actually have almost lethal here.
Okay, this is something. These are the 2 most explosive creature. Creature decks in Legacy right now, and Michael Bearmon's stabilizing at exactly 1 point of life. Of course, Mike could draw anything from the top right, any kind of like haste creature to try. Like the easiest way to win this is just to draw another Bombardiers and end the game that way, and that's how it usually happens to me. Even I want to say maybe there's a world where you draw Goblin Matron and it's gonna be good enough.
Is that Muxus in hand? I think I can't get a great look.
That would be something.
Yeah. So before damage, we went ahead and threw the Namesticker Goblin at face. That's 5 damage, not 6. And it's going to be Goblin Ringleader is actually the play. Flipping
so
quite
close.
a few goblins. That's the Shatterskull Smashing. It's Rabble Master, Simian Spirit Guide, and I believe Battle Cry Goblin.
So if you got another land, we can actually run out the Battle Cry Goblin, right? And that but it doesn't have haste by itself. It needs to activate, so that wouldn't do it.
And yeah, that's actually going to do it. Mike Jarvis sees no outs, is going to go ahead and concede. Michael Bearmon at 1 point of life, able to stabilize with his take on Legacy Rhinos. The deck now banned from the modern format, showing its stripes here in Legacy, up a game against Mono Red Goblins. Let's see how Goblins can adjust. We have in the sideboard 4 copies of Leyline of the Void, 3 copies of Pyrokinesis, 2 Dead Gone, 1 Pithing Needle, 1 Thorn of Amethyst, 1 Null Rod, 1 Blood Moon, 1 Negus of the Moon, and 1 Goblin Trash Master. Julian, how do we adjust with our explosive Goblins deck?
Probably not all that much, I would say. Like, I guess if you have something you want to take out, you could. Like, Pyrokinesis is always like such an awkward trade, right? Maybe you do it as a tempo play, especially since you have menace creatures. So it could make all the difference. The more I talk about it, the more I can maybe see Pyrokinesis, especially on the play. But I'm not a big fan of it. Is there anything in the main deck we want to take out? Also, not too much. Like, this is a very, very old machine. Like, you definitely take out the 2 unlicensed Hearse. They don't really do anything for the matchup. So I can see those becoming Pyrokinesis. I like them better than Dead Gun, I would say.
Okay.
Is there Trashmaster? No. Mega Snow, Blood Moon. Like, I guess some people would bring in Thorn of Amethyst as a one-off just to make the everything a little bit more awkward for the Rhinos deck. I don't hate it, so maybe that's a thing. Actually, the more that I think about it, it could be a thing. But then again, you don't really stop the Shardless Agent. You can only stop the Violent Outburst. Not stop, but tax the Violent Outburst. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, the Trellis already is like pretty good. You get the Trellis down on 0, so you can stop all the Rhinos. So yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, the Chalice is, I think, great main deck additions in this particular Goblins deck for the Rhinos deck. We'll see. Actually, I mean, those could come up huge now that we know the matchup. Remember, not open deck list. So let's have a look actually at Michael Bearmon's deck. He may or may not know about these Chalices. I do think Chalice is pretty common. We'll see how he wants to adjust in the sideboard, if at all. We have 3 copies of Force of Vigor, 3 Pyrokinesis, 2 Force of Negation, 2 Inevitable Betrayal, 2 Magus of the Moon, 1 Blood Moon, 1 Collector Ouphe, and 1 Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. What are we adjusting here for the Goblins matchup?
Yeah, easily you bring in Emrakul, you cast it for 15 mana, and then you get out.
Yeah, that's where we're at, huh?
I want to say the Pyrokinesis is specifically there because of this matchup, because it's one of the few ways that you can actually stop the combo. And like I know it's weird to call it a combo, but you've seen what the stack did in the first turn. So Pyrokinesis is basically there, so you can take out the sticker goblin before it actually adds mana. So I would guess if we have those in the sideboard, 3 copies of those might actually come in. And then other than that, not too much really. Is there anything that sticks out to you that you might want to have? I don't think so, right?
No, yeah, I mean I think that assessment's pretty good. Even going for things like Inevitable Betrayal, grabbing creatures out of their deck does not seem where you want to be at all. And Collector Ouphe maybe a little slow to the party as far as shutting down any like Chrome Mox stuff or anything like that. I don't think that's good enough either. So again, if you might want some Force of Vigors to cover for Chalice, if that's on your radar, but outside of trying to cover for Chalice in that way, you do have forces, you have Brazen Borrowers to cover it in your main deck. So how hard you want to go on the Chalice hate, not clear, but definitely Pyrokinesis seems like the easiest add. Getting some pitch cards in your deck, that's kind of the hallmark of these Rhinos decks that existed both in Modern before it was banned and now here in Legacy, is access to these pitch cards. And you almost certainly want to upgrade your pitch cards in the form of Pyrokinesis to pick off goblins. And like you said, the Namesticker Goblin being instant speed over something like Fury, a big deal that could come up as well.
By the way, something I want to highlight that Mike apparently did, that's everybody who's playing stickers does. Just note the number of walls on the card. You know how, like on the stickers, I think he's got a 4 drawn on there, and like, is that a 2? I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it makes it a lot easier for everybody involved to just like have the number of walls written on the card, so you don't have to start counting.
Yeah, counting that would be that would just slow the game down so much. And yeah, marking them on the card makes a lot of sense to me. And of course, I believe you shuffle these up between every game. They do not persist between the across the match. So you need to
every game even.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you heard about that, right? Wizards, a couple of weeks ago, they did a stream. They talked about how they're unhappy about how the sticker mechanic works in paper, because right now there are a couple of decks, for example, in Legacy, where you bring Phyrexian Metamorph, and there's sometimes a chance that you copy your opponent's sticker goblin, and then if you didn't bring any stickers, you don't get to like add mana. So they addressed that specifically, and they said, okay, we want to change the way stickers work in paper, so people don't have to always bring stickers to basically maximize their value. And I'm all for that. I'm curious how they're gonna like find a solution to that, but they should be able to come up with something.
I would prefer they're just not legal in Legacy. I think that solves
okay. No, if you're talking about,
I would also like. I want to go.
Just getting I
would change the way they work by making sure they don't. But we'll see exactly what other. Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever. Yeah, I have no stake in selling cards or anything like that. I just want all the goofiness to kind of go away. But that is not reality. That's not the world we live in now. And stickers is what we're going to work with. And very powerful are these stickers. Although, from my understanding, there's been calculations. I can't confirm this, but there's been calculations, and like the Namesticker Goblin implementation on Magic Online is, I mean, it works differently than how it works in paper. We saw that when the card was brought up on the screen. Now, my understanding is it's actually weaker in paper too than it is in Magic Online.
See, this is interesting. I think also, I believe the way it works on Magic Online, just by feeling, it's a little bit better. But now here's the thing. In paper, you know exactly how much mana it's gonna add. So, because you have the stickers already available. Whereas on Magic Online, sometimes you feel like, dude, if I can get a 5 or a 6 on this, my turn is gonna be insane. But if I got a 4 on this, I'd rather not play it and play something else instead. In paper, you already know, right? So
it works completely differently too. He's sick. Well, these players are well underway. Getting a turn 1 Ancient Tomb with no play wastelanded by the team of Rhinos that can just about and pass. Yeah, that's nuts. I did not know it had a different implementation like that too. That's horrible. Yeah, just get this out of here. Ban this thing. I don't know. Do what you need to do. Get it out. Horrible.
Yeah. I'm very much with you on that.
I'm offended. I'm like angry. I'm flustered. That's terrible. That is so bad.
Okay, now look at that forest. Look at that beautiful basic forest. Maybe it's gonna help you come down. Dude, I love that artwork so much, especially if it's the Arena League promo.
Green, shade of green. Yeah,
I think this one's the beta one or alpha one, or for a Black Modder, who knows? But yeah, love that one so much.
There's Goblin Matron.
Goblin Matron, dude. Here's another awesome stat for you. If we exclude all the creatures that have been printed in the last 5 years, so if you look at like quote unquote old creatures, Goblin Matron is the 3rd most played old creature in Legacy. Which, like, if you had told me that a couple of years ago, I would think like you're crazy.
What is old? What is the qualifier for
like basically
old?
if we exclude everything that has been printed in the last 5 years,
last
the only thing
5 years.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The previous 25 of Magic. Yeah, that's absurd.
Yeah, I think number 1 was Diver, number 2 I don't remember, and number 3 was Goblin Lucky. Goblin Matron.
Old creature now, Julian. I'm so old. I was there when that was printed. I was there. I was playing Magic. People were losing their minds. They were like, wow, this thing is so broken. It's so good. As here comes an attack with Goblin Matron. Second Wasteland going to pick off the City of Traitors and stop Mike Jarvis from deploying the name sticker Goblin that he searched for with the 3rd most played old creature in Legacy, Goblin Matron, as this Crashing Footfalls ticks down, hard suspended from the Team of Rhinos deck. Surprised when it ever got off suspend this way in Modern. Going to be real shocked if it happens in Legacy, as we found a second land and the Simian Spirit Guide for name sticker Goblin.
Somebody mentioned that earlier. Like, Goblins has become a show and tell deck, and this very much feels like it.
All right, so this is our show and tell. We're gonna make 4 red mana here.
Red mana is not that exciting. Like, whenever I play against it, it's easily 6 mana.
Easily 6 mana. Well, it's only 4 here, and we got a Fire Ice coming after the Battle Cry Goblin. That was the follow up.
Usually, the way it goes is that you go after the name sticker Goblin, so Mike wouldn't be able to get any kind of mana in the first place. But Michael was like, nope, this is how I want to do it. I want to leave you with the vanilla creature, basically.
I guess he got an activation off too. Yeah, because it's 4 mana. So 2 mana for the Goblin, 2 mana to activate. So it was able to give the Namesticker Goblin haste, as well as the +1/+0 to both creatures, and get a pretty big attack in. Get a look at Battle Cry Goblin there. That one's a 2 mana 2/2. It's a bear, and doesn't actually have the mechanic Battle Cry on it. So take that and I guess take it somewhere else. And it costs 1 in a red to give things +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. And it has some pack tactics that if you attack with creatures total power 6 or more, you get a 1/1 that is tapped and attacking, as well as Broadside Bombardiers off of another Simian Spirit Guide added to the mix as well. And it's going to be Simian Spirit Guide 2 mana, and Endurance is going to come in.
I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a little bit too much for me. This is what the Wars of the Future are gonna look like. Laser cannons everywhere, attacking for 20 damage on your first upkeep or something. This is...
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. We're cannoning down something. So I believe we blocked the name sticker Goblin. That one got cannoned at Michael Bearmon's face using the Boast ability. So that's 5 damage to the dome, and then 2 + 1 more comes through, and that gets Michael Bearmon down to 5. But I think here we have a Crashing Footfalls coming off suspend. Blocking going to be possible, but on board right now, if this Broadside Bombardiers untaps, it's going to be able to boast and then cannon that Matron into Michael Bearmon's face.
Oh my god, dude, seriously.
Is here is Shardless Agent. Wow. Sparks flying back and forth, both players, as we cascade deep into the deck. Permanents and cards forming a circle around the entire battlefield as we look for a copy of Crashing Footfalls. We found it.
Thing is, in these situations, I always ask myself, in this format, do I want to be the player casting Stoneforge Mystic?
It's just... Oh yeah, I mean, Stoneforge Mystic, a card once heralded as too strong and all these kinds of things, looking perhaps outpowered by today's standards.
At least when we see these two decks going up against each other. This is obscene kind of Magic. This is not my kind of Magic, I want to say. But on the other hand, I love watching these guys going to town with their completely busted decks.
And no attacks with Rhinos is Michael Bearmon. Has all these blockers. He says, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to attack with my Bombardiers, cannon this Matron at your face, and to game 3 we go. So 1 game apiece for this little Mike battle off we have here between Goblins and Rhinos. 2 different creature types. Maybe one very classic for Magic. You know, the Goblin King no longer featured in the deck, but once, you know, iconic part of the Goblins kin, and now Rhinos, relative newcomers. We take a look at the sideboard and see if there's any adjustments we want to make for game number 3. We called out Pyrokinesis. Didn't see any that game, but did, I believe, see one where we cascaded past. Would have been an important piece of the puzzle for stopping the Bombardiers that has been a big part of Mike's game plan.
Yeah, Pyrokinesis would have been crucial here. Would have allowed Mike to actually win the game. Unfortunately, didn't have it there. So I guess, fortunately for us, we actually get to see a third game. And that one's going to be, I guess we're not going to have goblins on the play. So there's going to be a little bit more hope for the Temur Rhino stack. It's just, I don't know about you or anybody watching, but it took me like a month of becoming comfortable with goblins being able to have these kinds of explosive starts, because for decades it was like basically hammered home. Dude, don't think of it as an aggressive deck. It has like real grind potential, and a lot of people call it a control deck, which I'm not subscribing to, but I see what they're coming from. Now you really have to take all these like 20 years of thinking one way into like, no, this is not how it works anymore. This is not only an aggressive deck, this is a combo deck. This is completely going to combo you out as soon as turn one. And not too much Michael can really do about that, especially like if we get a Cavern of Souls going on here. But I just want to see the bombs come down as early as possible.
It's funny you call it a combo deck, because a combo deck where Force of Negation doesn't work. Like Mike Bearmon had those in his sideboard, probably doesn't even want them, because as you mentioned, it's like if it's show and tell with this name sticker goblin, then you can't Force Negation any of these pieces. They're all creatures. And so the Pyrokinesis is really the only tools for Mike Bearmon. We'll have another look here at Mike Jarvis's sideboard, access to the same cards that we looked at before. And he has his own 3 copies of Pyrokinesis, maybe speaking to the prevalence of this Goblins deck, especially in the paper metagame here. Not really interested in too much else. We talked about this before. As far as your matchups go, you kind of just try to blow the doors off these other decks, just try to be faster than them, and so far has done a reasonable job of keeping up at the very least, if not staying ahead, as he reveals 3 sticker sheets. Unclear right now what his highest count is. Looks like multiple 4s. Can't get a great look at the handwriting from here. There might be a 5 there. I think we might have a 5.
Yeah, 5 would be quite something. By the way, speaking of Pyrokinesis, I was at my shop the other day for a tournament. They were sold out of Pyrokinesis. Just saying.
Sold out. I mean, it's like a Eternal Masters dollar rare or whatever.
Like maybe they also didn't stock it because it was like so cheap. But yeah, a lot of people wanted it. Nobody had them anymore.
MTG finance going on here, buying some Pyrokinesis.
Not for those cheap cards, I would guess. Unless you're moving like insane numbers.
I was just, I want to speculate. I was just kind of seeing, where you stand on the whole. I mean, look, there's already one of the cycle that's pretty expensive in Force of Will. Maybe it's Pyrokinesis' time.
You know the other cards in the cycle of Force of Will?
Ooh, they covered it. So, I watch a little bit of content by some, I'll say our predecessors, Patrick and Sullivan. They did, Patrick Sullivan and Cedric Phillips. They do a little bit on YouTube recovering old sets. And they went over alliances, and I actually learned what the green one was for the first time. I had no idea what that was. I didn't know Contagion. Contagion saw play in
that's like a vintage
Dredge and various formats. That one's pretty strong. And actually was in the Vintage Cube recently.
So the green one should be Bounty of the Hunt.
Bounty of the Hunt. Yeah, there's Contagion. This card actually legacy playable at one point, maybe not now, as the one toughest creatures have more or less evaporated, but used to be pretty good in Dredge. No longer really played as much. And now here's Bounty of the Hunt. Here we go. Remove a green card.
That actually used to be a legacy card for a hot moment.
Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1, target creature gets +1, target creature gets +1. This is horrible templating. It's just like, can you target the same creature or no?
I believe you can, because if I remember correctly, some people try to play it in like very early versions of like 8-land Stompy.
All right, and hit me. What's the white one? I have no idea. No idea what the white one is.
The white one, I think it like prevents damage and does something like Scars of the Veteran or something.
Oh, Scars the Veteran. That sounds right. Scars the Veteran, the white card.
I don't know the details about that one, but I think it has some kind of damage prevention thingy going on.
Always does. Here's Wooded Foothills and Pass. There we go. Scars the Veteran on the screen. As Mike Jarvis starts out with Mountain and Chalice the Void. That one very important for stopping all the Crashing Footfalls shenanigans that has allowed Mike Bearmon to be able to keep up with the explosive starts that Mike Jarvis has prevented. Now, not so much with Chalice coming in unchecked. And his name sticker goblin right now on turn 2. Does he have any follow-up? There's a lot of red mana coming. No Force of Will for Chalice probably means no Force of Will for this name sticker goblin. What's the follow-up? It's Goblin Rabblemaster. And Broadside Bombardiers. He had to have made 5 mana, I guess. 6 mana?
Oh, the
blowout.
What
is Pyrokinesis?
It is Pyrokinesis. Like, we already saw there's no Force of Will, so if Michael wants to hang, he needs Pyrokinesis. And he's making...
And he sure has
this is the best use of the card you can probably have.
Yeah, and then we did go ahead, and now we're going to go ahead and Island cycle the Lórien Revealed. to find an island of some kind. So Chalice of the Void stops all the Crashing Footfalls stuff, but the win very much out of the sails for Mike Jarvis. Only 2 cards left, and kind of did the Goblins explosive thing you were talking about with Namesticker Goblin into 2 very powerful Goblins, made 6 mana, and was stopped by the Power Kinesis. Chose not to stop the Namesticker Goblin, but actually stop the payoffs. And it looks like that's going to work out for him here. As he, like I said, he traded 2 for 2 there.
That's always going to be a decision to be made, whether you want to fight over the name sticker goblin. I think most people would fight over the name sticker goblin because then there's the potential that Mike has something else that is like a devastating comes to playability, most importantly like Maxis or even like Goblin Ringleader. But he chose correctly this time. But now we're entering the phase where Mike can't really do all that much. I guess 3 mana is still decent. And Michael also like starts card casting elves and stuff.
Yeah, how about Elvish Spirit Guide? The beatdown
fly, by the way.
The split card. It actually, so it normally makes mana. Here we go. It's also a 3 mana 2/2 with wings that doesn't fly. So that make sense.
I lost a top 8 at a very important event because I looked at a creature my opponent played that had wings, and I was like, okay, I can't block, and conceded, and they looked at me and like, what? I go, oh, nothing. And then later on I realized, oh my god. I think it was like Thing in the Eyes. Thing in the Eyes, and I had like 20 elves to block and strike back for lethal, and I was like, oh, there's rings. No, GG.
So here's Shardless Agent. This is going into a Crashing Footfalls that if Michael Bearmon, now remember, he can choose not to cast it. If he chooses to cast it in Chalice check, it will just be countered. But it does make a 2/2. And based on what we're at with hard casting Elvish Spirit Guide, it looks like vanilla 2/2s are actually just where Michael Bearmon wants to be. Yeah, it gets countered. That's fine. Whatever. I just need blockers. Here's 3 mana coming for Simian Spirit Guide on Mike Jarvis' side. This is ridiculous. We're just casting the Spirit Guides.
Air Wars.
You mentioned these decks being explosive and broken, and this is just the F- draws here, the scrappy part of the game where we're casting Spirit Guides.
Reminds me so much of like when you had like old vintage decks go against old vintage stretch decks go up against each other when they had the main deck ley lines, and everybody was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna start like hard casting my Stinky Dump.
Oh yeah, powerful 1/2 pseudo Death Touch. Got some Dredge 5 on it. And yeah, okay, so here we go. Now we're going to get a real Goblins thing started with Goblin Matron. That's a real card. Goes and finds Goblin Ringleader, but Michael Bearmon has also found a real piece of cardboard in the form of Endurance.
Endurance is basically the Tarmogoyf on this board. Like in this game, the 3/4 is the Tarmogoyf. Bigger than anything.
And it's Wasteland for the City of Traitors.
Yeah.
And a Shardless Agent follow-up to add more power to the board. Yeah, here's my Crashing Footfalls. That's countered by the Chalice of the Void. So here is the beatdowns from the Tarmogoyf, as you call it. Just kidding, it's Endurance. And back over to Mike Jarvis we go. Does have a Cavern of Souls, but very far from casting the Ringleader he just found. Also has an Ancient Tomb. So now that one catches him up pretty quickly. Life total might start to become a factor.
He's got another Cavern of Souls in hand. He's got a Blood Moon, but he definitely doesn't want to cast the Blood Moon because that's going to cut him off from the extra mana he needs.
Mike Bearmon throwing Shardless Agent at Mike Jarvis, an attempt to get him dead faster, and Goblin Matron getting into the block mode as Shardless Agent's going to get in there, and another Shardless Agent added to the mix, cascading into Crashing Footfalls, which would be, of course, a bad draw. So we're getting those out of the deck by casting them and getting them countered by the Chalice.
They're also getting close to the point where you really have to properly shuffle those as they go in the bottom of the library. They become the library, actually.
I have never seen so many Gray Ogres cast in a game of Legacy in my entire life. Both sides content with their vanilla 2/2s for 2. Or for 3. Sorry. That's how much it cost. No Grizzly Bears here. That's too strong. No.
Honestly, like, whom do you like here? Who do you think is actually gonna take it? Because, like, I want to say Goblin Ringleader could reveal something, but on the other hand, you're already like taking a ton of damage next turn again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Ringleader needs to be on blocking duty. At the end of the day, I'm still going to favor the Ringleader player now. If we keep flipping like this, maybe not. Oh, no. Oh, no. A complete miss. And Mike Bearmon looks thrilled with that. Well, immediately, I now feel a lot better for Michael Bearmon's spot as no cards found off Goblin Ringleader. A Goblin's deck you are not, as here comes an attack for 5. And this is a 3-turn clock for Mike Jarvis.
So I wonder, is this like where you want to draw another sticker goblin and then deploy your entire hand? But the thing is, like, you already have one card in hand that you don't really want. I guess at this point, Blood Moon kind of fixes your mana because you don't lose life. Oh, and we go for the Not for the hard cast.
Pyrokinesis, pitching the Blood Moon. That'll solve the endurance problem. Now, Shardless Agent going to take 4 turns in order to get the job done from 8. And hopefully, I mean, if you're a Mike Jarvis fan who has a Mountain in hand as his only card, he needs to find a creature at all to block this generic vanilla 2/2 on Mike Bearmon's side of the field. And we'll see. Is there what direct damage options do we have? We have 4 copies of Fire Ice to speed up the clock. Violent Outburst. That one can add.
Oh, you mean from the Cascade side? Yeah. Violent Outburst to push across 1 more point of damage. That would be something. I want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not strong, but hey, it might be where we're at. As Mike Jarvis takes another draw step down to 6, plays a land, no play, and that sacrifice City of Traitors. Back over to Mike Bearmon we go, who on Instep has found Brazen Borrower. Got a petty theft, the Chalice of the Void. Cast Brazen Borrower. That's 5 points. Violent Outburst is lethal if he can find it. Attack for 5. Mike Jarvis to 1. Ancient Tomb turned off. And big draw step here.
I don't think that's really all that much that he can find.
Cavern of Souls. 2 mana. Battle Cry Goblin. That can't block Brazen Borrower.
That's going to need a lot more mana to be lethal.
And that's it. Mike Bearmon with his scrappy beatdown plan going to win this game and match over Mike Jarvis 2-1 in what was a wild show of what the range Legacy presents.
Yeah. If I was to do this every single round in a tournament, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But seeing this once, these kind of like Juggernaut decks going up against each other, that's quite something. I don't know what to compare it to, but this is what some Legacy is like these days. And I think a lot of people like these really sick plays.
Scrappy games are always fun. It's certainly fun to watch. So that was really exciting to see a bunch of Grey Ogres kind of get the job done. Hardcast Spirit Guides on both sides of the fields always is going to make for an interesting game, I'd say. But that game also went pretty quick, which means I believe we have a backup going. We'll see if we're going to start in live. It looks like we are live. As here is Jaden versus Kevin. We have Mystic Forge combo on the left, Mono Black Helm on the right. Julian, this is so different from what we've been seeing all day. Walk me through what is going on here.
Okay, so I want to say like the Mystic Forge combo deck is like the combo deck du jour, but it's even more than that. It's been around for like, I want to say a couple of months. And it's also another one of those super, super explosive decks that have found their way into Legacy. This one is going to run out a bunch of stuff and then abuse the mechanic behind like using the One Ring and all these untap effects like Voltaic Key, or I think in this case also Manifold Key, just to draw a bunch of turns and get around the restriction of using Ring only once a turn otherwise. And as soon as you get, and speak of the devil, we have Paradox Engine down.
Paradox Engine.
That one's gonna allow us to basically draw almost our entire deck at some point. Once you get enough counters on the One Ring, you basically play everything you got. You untap the ring, you untap your mana sources, you untap your Manifold Keys and stuff. And sometimes
it's just spell and tap all non-land permanents. That's going to happen right now. In response to the trigger, we're going to draw a card with the One Ring as we're casting a card on the Great Creator. That's going to trigger the Paradox Engine, which is going to look to untap Grim Monolith, Basalt Monolith, Voltaic Key, as you mentioned, the One Ring, as you mentioned, and these massive creatures. Is this just over?
Yeah, as soon as you find Karn the Great Creator, you can just minus for Walking Ballista, and you're probably going to have, I mean, you already have Karn, it looks like. We can just find Walking Ballista and shoot the opponent. I think there's no way to win in the main deck other than Urza Saga, so I think that's going to be the way that Jaden is going to take this game.
Whoa. I mean, we came in here live, and Jaden already up a game, presumably done something similar in game number 1. And there is a Bowmasters in play alongside this One Ring. So every time we tap this One Ring to draw cards, that is something you need to keep in mind with Jaden at 9. Now, the question is, can Karn the Great Creator just solve the problem anyway, as it looks like? So 3, 6, plus 1 to untap. That nets 2 more, right? So we're going to go to 8 mana and then spend 6 of it for Ugin the Ineffable. That solves the problem.
Sounds good, right? I mean, you also don't need this Karn to actually provide the win condition. If this Karn just like, as we mentioned, takes out the Bowmaster, then we can just like keep digging deeper and eventually find another Karn to find the win condition. So
there's Ugin Ineffable on the screen. Does have a static ability, as is common with the War of the Spark Planeswalkers. Color spells cost 2 less to cast. And then we saw the -3 there to pick off the Bowmasters. Destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. And of course, the +1 kind of more or less does a manifest impression. You more or less manifest the top card of your library to start making some blockers. Powerful Planeswalker. Doesn't see as much play these days, but very powerful inside a combo deck looking to play a bunch of colorless spells.
Yeah. This card is super broken. Honestly, like, I think I don't know if the ring actually came into play this turn. If it did, then we probably even had protection from the Bowmaster. So that's another way to just like outright ignore the Bowmaster if you go off on the turn that you run out the ring. Okay, and this basically seals the game. This is Mickersent Letters. This makes it so that Kevin cannot tap his lands for mana. Can't really do anything. Like one of the few ways to get out of this is like using once again any of the pitch spells, like for example Pyrokinesis, which of course Kevin doesn't have, to get rid of the Karn. So you can start tapping your lands at the very least again. But right now, or like if you already have like some creative creatures, right, to take on the card, that's what some decks do. But I don't think that's how it's gonna work out here. Kevin is basically a dead man walking, and I think he already saw the writing on the wall. As Jaden just like goes deeper into the deck, adding more mana. Is that like a mana? Oh yeah,
yeah. I believe that waste is how much mana he is making with this Grim Monolith, Basalt Monolith, Voltaic Key combination here. I believe that's a Manifold Key added to the mix, untapping everything with Paradox Engine. Is there a fail rate here at all? There's probably not, right? With
at this point, no. I think even if you stacked all of the lands on top, I don't think there's only 11 lands and everything else is a spell. Actually, there's 4 more Ursa Sagas. Okay, let's say there's 17 lands, but it would be like
17 lands. We're at 17 lands atop the library territory, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough. And even then, I mean, it's not like Kevin can cast anything, right? There's Mycosynth Lattice in play. Can't even crew this Sky Sovereign with this Orcish army. Orcish Bowmaster's off the table. I mean, realistically, even if he had to pass the turn, being able to just plus these Planeswalkers into Oblivion would more or less end the game in that way. I think this is it for Kevin Sames and Jaden. Walcher is what I'm going to go with. Looks like he has this one all rolled up, going through the motions as he moves a pile of dice around, finding more Manifold Keys and tapping that pile of artifacts you see at the top of the screen, making a bunch of mana and drawing cards with the One Ring each time. You mentioned some tricks with the One Ring where you can untap it, draw more cards. Not even interested in that. We're just making mana because he has Retrofitter Foundry. We have all these various mana outlets we could use. Might as well just make more mana. We'll draw cards. Got all the cards we need.
And it's something that's interesting to me. A lot of times when people like go this deep into a combo and they basically got it sealed up, the opponents will concede. This deck, there's something, I don't know, fascinating about it. It's almost like it pulls you into some kind of trance state where you just sit there and you watch it because it's so beautiful. And like, look at Kevin. He's like being snake charmed by Jaden. Jaden is like, oh, look at this, I'm going to do this, I do this. And Kevin is just like, yeah, keep going, I want to see more.
Jaden plays the pipe of the Mystic Forge combo, and Kevin Sames is hypnotized by that. I mean, this is extremely powerful. So what is the actual win condition? You mentioned Walking Ballista. So we're just looking for another card in the Great Creator, making a pile of mana, as we've seen Jaden do with the Voltaic Keys every single iteration, and he's just going to be making a large Walking Ballista? Or is it, okay, no, we're making creatures with Retrofitter Foundry right now. So maybe instead of choosing to go that direction, we're going to just put lethal in play, which of course grows these constructs that I believe are in play as well, and not actually correctly updated with the correct power toughness. These are constructs, right? So they have power toughness equal to the number of artifacts in play, and every time we're untapping and tapping this Retrofitter Foundry, we're actually just making another artifact, and so they're all getting bigger.
I just really appreciate the stoic like patience of Kevin just sitting there being like, okay, resolves, works, yes, here we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I don't think there's any outs from here. And once we pass the turn with Mycosynth Lattice in play, not a lot of options going to exist for Kevin Sames, and attacking for lethal should be as easy as attacking for a couple turns, assuming, of course, that nothing accidental happens with Jaden's One Ring dealing too much damage to him. But it looks like Jaden's done a good job not going too hard on that particular avenue, and instead just going the Retrofitter Foundry way, leaving it at 3 counters, and, you know, just pass the turn from there. As there is Mox Opal untapping everything.
The way I would imagine it, I'm not sure if Jaden is ever going to pass the turn, but maybe he's just going to do it for convenience. Like technically, you could just like win with Walking Ballista if you have like a bunch of like mana producing artifacts in play. And he's like, okay, so I have 12 mana again, make that 14.
Hey, we're going to activate Retrofitter Foundry again. Look, we're not done. We got more Retrofitter to activate. We're not done. We're having so much fun.
Is he scared of like decking out or something?
I mean, you know, you just got to be safe. You never know. You never know what your opponent can have. Okay. It's servo galore being made here, as Jaden has plenty of cards left to work with. Yeah, it looks like we got these constructs. Let's just go and get the dice off that. These are just ridiculous size at this point. And we can do that calculation come time for them to actually connect with the opponent here. Okay, now we're tapping the One Ring. 4 cards coming for Jaden Walcher. And Kevin Sames moving the deck box out of the way there as we await a win condition and an actual kill. Again, we talk a lot about, you mentioned chess, just making your opponents play it out. You mentioned Reed Duke, just kind of making sure your opponent doesn't make any mistakes. And like I said, there's a mishap, maybe some kind of potential with the One Ring that could happen, but from here, it's pretty trivial.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. And also Jaden looks like he already knows what he wants to do. What is that? Is that defense grid? Are we playing it uber safe?
Yeah, just make sure you couldn't cast spells anyway, thanks to Microsoft Lattice. But just in case.
Defense. That's how you do it in America, right? Defense.
Yeah. I didn't know you were proficient in the true football, not
Oh yeah, dude. The thing is, I've been to one game of the NBA. It was in 2017. No, 2014.
The NBA and the NFL.
No, I'm talking about the NBA. That's where they showed defense, right?
Oh, I don't know. The NBA is basketball. Do you chant defense at basketball? I've never been to a basketball game, I don't think.
There's no chanting at NFL games, right?
Sure. They definitely chant it. I mean, they chant it probably in all the games, realistically. You play defense in all these games. I'm showing my improficiency with anything other than American football. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything about soccer. I don't know anything about basketball. I watched Alabama lose in the I believe Elite 8 is where they lost.
Elite 8, isn't it from Pokemon?
Yeah, it is from Pokemon. It's the final people you play.
That's Alabama.
Let's do the March Madness bracket. Come on, Julian. You're going to talk to me about basketball? You didn't even make a March Madness bracket?
Isn't that the tournament organized by Warren Buffett or something? I've heard about that.
Yeah, all right. You're on top of it all. This is ridiculous. We need to look. I can't work with these Germans, man. I can't do it. Too much. Look, need some American sports. All I know is the Crimson Tide.
Wait, let's. And speaking of sports, do you know we are in Minneapolis? Of course, we are in Minneapolis. This city has the most golf players per capita of the entire U.S. It is. I looked it up. Whenever we are somewhere, I try to find interesting facts about the city, and then you have to go through all the relevant facts. All my golf players in chat.
That's incredible. Like, who's just Googling interesting facts about Minneapolis, and you come up with most golf players per capita. My God.
This is proper professional commentary preparation. That's how you do it. That's what they teach you at commentary school.
In commentary school, I missed the class. I was
obviously
watching football at home, shouting roll tide at the top of my lungs. Meanwhile, you're just counting the golfers in Minneapolis. We've passed the turn. Kevin Sames is taking a draw step. Can't take any game actions. The man has floated away.
He can play a land if he wants to.
Sure, that is a game action. You can move the discards if that's part of the equation. Back to Jaden Walcher we go. Don't forget to take your damage. I think we played another ring. We have 2 defense grids. Why not? One's not good enough. Got to make sure it's covered.
And now we attack for, I think, 10,000 damage.
I don't know what the math is, but God help me if I have to do the math. And a fist bump from these players, both, kind of trying to do their own versions of rather oppressive combos, they say, like prison elements more prevalent, maybe in the Mono Black Helm deck than the Mystic Forge combo deck. But certainly both decks looking to execute something tangential to oppressive in that match, and good sport from both of them as Jaden is going to win over Kevin Sames.
Yeah, I think with that, it's going to be it from us tonight. I think there's going to be like 3 more rounds of Swiss, followed by the top 8. So 6 more rounds of Legacy coming up. Drake, was my pleasure doing commentary with you. Always love you. And by the way, everybody, check out, does it work? The Everyday Eternal Podcast. Hey, that's the podcast where I sometimes talk about Legacy. Yeah, I gotta do. I also gotta plug Kenya. Sick. I guess if you want to book a safari for Kenya, Norm, I haven't forgotten you. We will talk about that safari at some point.
A safari with Norm.
Yeah, we should organize. I've been talking to Legacy players about organizing, and you are allowed to join as well, everybody, doing what we call a blue safari, which I guess would be on the sea, but it's basically for blue players and their friends. Where we go to Kenya with 20 people, and then we go on safari, because
Julian has lost his mind. He needs a nap. That is gonna
I do need a nap, and I might have lost my mind.
That's that's going to do it for round number 5 of our legacy trial here. All that combo has gone to his head. And of course, there will be 3 more rounds of Swiss. There's going to be round 6, 7, and 8. And then the finals, all the way through the finals will happen today. This is the final day of the legacy event. So lots more legacy action coming to you for the rest of the rounds. Again, this is NRG Minneapolis. This is the Legacy 5K trial brought to you by the NRG series and sponsored by Ultimate Guard. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to follow us here on Twitch. That does help support us, help support our channel, grow our channel, and support Paper Magic coverage. And as always, if you want to remove ads, get some cool extra benefits like emotes and other stuff, please consider subscribing as well. And this is the whole Amazon Prime thing where you get it for free and all that. The streamers, if you watch them do that, all that spiel, it's not as much my spiel. Thank you very much for sticking out with us. They will have some commentators coming up. I believe it is going to be Mason Clark and maybe also Devin O'Donnell. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, 2 more commentators coming up to you very shortly. This is our last round with us. And with that will conclude our time here. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Round number 6 will be coming at you very shortly after this small break.
Thank you, everybody. See you.